Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. We start today's show with some bad news from Germany, where Volkswagen posted its Q3 results, showing its lowest profit since the COVID-19 pandemic originally hit. Recording an operating profit of €2.86 billion, down 42% year-over-year, its vehicle revenues, while down 0.5%, fared a little better. At the heart of Volkswagen's problems remains poor sales in China, down more than 250,000 vehicles from January to September year-over-year. This has led Volkswagen to threaten that up to 3 plants may have to close in Germany, which may include EV production facilities. It's also announced a cut in salary of 10% across the board and says a pay freeze will be in effect through 2026. In reaction to the news, the Workers' Council and labour unions have warned of industrial action from the 1st of December. After announcing earlier this year that Volvo and Polestar vehicles would be allowed to use Tesla's Supercharger Network, Tesla has now officially flipped the switch, granting access. Announced midweek, Volvo and Polestar customers can now order their CCS Type 1 to NACS charging adapters for $230 or 310 Canadian dollars, with supercharger payment taken care of by each automaker's in-car navigation system. But while access is now granted, it's worth noting that there's one particular EV in the Volvo lineup that hasn't got supercharger access yet, the Volvo EX30. Only sold in Canada, it will eventually be given access to Tesla's Supercharger Network, along with all 2025 model year Volvos in the near future. Despite what some political candidates might like to claim, fossil fuels are on their way out, and there's some great new data to back that up from the International Energy Agency. This week, the IEA predicted that 1/2 of the world's electricity will be generated by low-emission sources by 2030, by which time the global demand for coal, oil and gas will have peaked and be in decline. While that estimate includes nuclear power sources, which the IEA says will continue to provide around 10% of the world's energy generation needs for the next decade or so, it's also worth noting that the IEA predicts some significant growth in grid energy demand. Some of that increased demand will come from the transition to electric vehicles, but the majority of that increase in demand comes from increased use of power-hungry data centers as the world switches more of its computer systems to AI. The Cadillac Lyriq may have been on sale for a few years now, but in the last 2 quarters, sales have dramatically taken off, accounting for 19% of all Cadillac brand sales. Next year, there's a new Cadillac Lyriq variant joining the brand's lineup, a high-performance halo of the car that will become the first electric car from the brand to wear the lauded V badge, promising a 4.4-second sprint time, 682 horsepower, that's 501 kilowatts, and 653 pound-feet, that's 885 newton-meters of torque. The newest Lyriq will get official pricing and specs nearer to its launch, with both left-hand and right-hand drive variants planned. Sadly, the price is expected to be well above most people's budgets, though. What's the safest electric car on the market today? If you ask most people, they'll say the Tesla range of EVs, driven by Tesla's high marks in crash tests around the world. Yet a new study this week from Australian insurance website Compare the Market claims that the BYD Seal is now the world's safest car, followed by the BYD Dolphin. Those are some seriously big claims and were made by collating safety tests from ANCAP, Euro NCAP and NHTSA into a new safety rating by the Global New Car Assessment Programme. But because the study collated crash test data from different years, Tesla's test results were from 2020 through 2022, while the BYD models were for the 2023 test standards. That means that some people are arguing the test wasn't exactly fair. Regardless of which automaker is the safest, though, I think we should all feel safe in the knowledge that most of the EVs on sale today test really well in crash tests. For a long time, Hyundai's N brand has stood for high-octane fun on the racetrack, producing both road-legal performance models of popular cars and building race-spec versions for competition on the track. Hyundai's Ioniq 5N has been on sale for about a year now, becoming a flagship for the Ioniq EV family. But this week, Hyundai showcased its newest testbed for producing a next-generation high-performance N-badge EV, the Rolling Lab RN24. Looking for all the world like an old-school Renault 5 Turbo with a roll cage replacing roof and windows, the RN24 is 340mm, that's 13.38 inches shorter than the Ioniq 5N, but has some epic performance specs. There's 478 kilowatts at the wheels from a dual-motor all-wheel drive setup and an 84 kilowatt-hour battery pack. And yes, it also makes fake engine noises. Ford published its third quarter financial results this week, recording an increase in sales that helped it beat Wall Street predictions on revenue and earnings. However, while Ford recorded $46 billion in revenue and an earnings per share of 49 cents, the brand's net income slipped by 25% in the quarter, driven by a $1.1 billion loss from its EV division Model E. Despite this, however, Ford says that lower costs associated with production and battery packs have helped it avoid larger losses, with Ford CEO Jim Farley promising during the earnings call that its new mid-size electric pickup, due in 2027, would be capable of competing with Chinese-made EVs in terms of specs, manufacturing costs, and price. Solar EV startup Aptera was celebrating getting its first production intent vehicles moving this week, sharing videos of PI-2 undergoing low-speed validation testing. As Aptera has detailed in the past, its production intent vehicles are vehicles that, unlike their predecessors, are built using all of the parts that it will put into its production vehicles, from the chassis and frame components through to the body panels, power electronics, battery pack, and even wheels. It might look like a prototype right now, but this particular test is carried out prior to the fitting of all of the body panels and exterior components to verify that all of the production parts do in fact do what they are meant to do, with special emphasis on mechanical components, drivetrain, and battery pack functionality. Next up, PI-2 will head back inside to get all of its cosmetic parts fitted and will then head out onto the test track for high-speed validation testing. Aptera plans on making other siblings to PI-2 for crash testing and other certifications, with low-volume production of customer vehicles due to start next year. Next week, SEMA 2024 opens up its doors in Las Vegas, offering hot rod and custom vehicle fans a chance to see the latest and greatest in the world of automotive performance tweaking. This year, Stellantis is planning something a little special for the show. Just as Detroit rivals Ford and Chevrolet have showcased their own restomod EVs built using crate motor power solutions in past years, its parts and performance arm Mopar has got something special for the show floor in the form of a 1967 Plymouth GTX, completely restored with a powerful all-electric drivetrain. Made possible by a new e-crate motor product from Mopar and Stellantis, it packs approximately 335 horses at the wheels from a 250 kilowatt electric motor through a 3-to-1 reduction gearbox. Powered by a modular 73 kilowatt hour battery pack, Mopar says it's good for 250 miles, with the e-crate designed to work with E and B body vehicles. You know I love resto mods, and this one is a bit of a beaut. Chevrolet's been increasing the number of Silverado EVs available on dealer forecourts, and this week we learned from multiple sources that the entry-level Silverado EV LT is now available to buy. While it starts at a not very affordable $75,000 and change, the entry-level LT features 408 miles of EPA range and lacks some of the bells and whistles of more expensive variants. That said, if you're in the market for a much more bare-bones variant, Silverado WT models, rumour has it that Chevrolet is dramatically discounting work truck variants for eligible buyers, are now available at prices that match those being asked for ex-Hertz work truck variants with 6 months of rental work under their belts. For many people, though, the truck and the price will still be just too much. Our shorts are coming next, but first a word from today's video sponsor, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us out too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and support this channel? It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for shorts. Rimac has recalled the Nevera hypercar to address an issue with an improperly connected electrical cable that could overheat and short circuit. I severely doubt anyone watching has one, but it shows that even $250,000 cars sometimes need recall campaigns. Ford has officially recalled certain 2021 Mustang Mach-E models to address an issue with the potential for the loss of power brake assist, which itself was caused by an over-the-air update to the vehicle's ABS. Dealers will have to recalibrate ABS on affected cars. Motiv Power Systems has announced a recall campaign for around 25 electric school buses fitted with its fourth-generation powertrain. The recall campaign says that a wire connection could loosen, resulting in a loss of 12-volt power to the vehicle. Volvo has issued a recall campaign affecting nearly 300 various plug-in hybrid vehicles in North America to address a loose pushrod screw joint on the braking system of affected cars. Dealers will inspect and tighten affected parts as required. Tesla has unveiled a new Powerwall 3 expansion unit that it says can cut the installation time of its home energy storage product by as much as 1/2. The new Powerwall 3 expansion units don't have an inverter, since only one inverter is actually required for each installation. India has announced its intent to add more than 100,000 electric buses to the roads around the Bharat Urban area between 2025 and 2029. It plans to encourage citizens to leave private transportation at home, taking a bus, walking, or cycling instead. Ford has announced it will be shifting production of its electric vehicle battery packs from Poland to Michigan as part of a move to make it more cost-effective for it to make and sell EVs in the US. It is, of course, heavily influenced by US federal tax incentive rules for EVs. Republic Services and the city of Louisville in Colorado have officially transitioned the city's refuse collection fleet to electric. It's the first municipality in the US to have an all-electric refuse collection service and is part of Republic Services' ongoing greenhouse gas reduction plan. The UK Labour government published its first budget since the general election this week, and in it confirmed it wished to ban the sales of new ICE vehicles by 2030. While fossil fuel duty will remain and EVs will now have to pay road tax, heavily polluting vehicles will be taxed far more. Toyota's latest financials, released recently, shows that it's struggling to compete against electric cars from rival companies in China. For the first time in 4 years, Toyota's production output fell, with its Prius hybrid losing out to more competitive EVs in many markets. Lucid has confirmed that it will open the order books next week for its second electric car. The Lucid Gravity SUV will launch with two models priced at just under $80,000 and $95,000 respectively, with cheaper options most likely in the future. Tesla's chair of the board, Elon Musk's brother Kimball Musk, and Kathleen Wilson-Thompson, one of the board of directors at Tesla, have all filed to sell off substantial amounts of Tesla's stock. According to Tesla's most recent SEC filings, the three plan on selling up to $300 million of stock. Ford has announced that it will temporarily halt production of the Ford F-150 Lightning at its Rouge production facility for just under 2 months, starting in mid-November. Ford says the shutdown is related to adjusting production to meet demand, while also keeping operating costs low. Battery manufacturer Northvolt is in the process of finalising a rescue financing round of approximately $300 million that it says will help it stabilise the company as it looks to its next chapter. Long-term, multiple rescue options are possible. In related news, Volvo Cars, which has a battery cell joint venture with Northvolt called Novo, is looking to buy out Northvolt's shareholding in said company. Volvo states that Northvolt has not fulfilled its financial obligations in respect to the joint venture and thus wants to buy out its share. Porsche has confirmed this week that, unlike its previous plans of dumping new internal combustion engine vehicles by 2030, it could now work on designing new internal combustion engines for sale past that point. It now plans 80% of its vehicles to be electric by 2030. Audi has unveiled a new entry-level variant of its A6 e-tron, offering 240 kilowatts of rear-wheel drive or an entry-level all-wheel drive quattro variant with 340 kilowatts at the wheels. They will start from just under €63,000. Facing uncertainty after a potential rescue package from the German government fell through, eVTOL specialist Lilium has filed for insolvency protection in a regulatory filing similar to the US's Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. It gives it additional time to try and restructure. Ford confirmed this week that its EVs are now capable of passing their state of charge information through to a connected Android phone to allow EV route planning in Google Maps. The feature had previously only been available for Apple iOS devices. Polestar is warning the US federal government and customers that if proposed rules to ban the use of Chinese vehicle hardware and software in new vehicles goes into effect, it will effectively have to stop selling cars in the US, including ones it makes in the US. Maritime electric startup Nevera celebrated the delivery of its first electric hydrofoil boat to a customer this week. The N30 electric hydrofoil is designed to reduce electricity consumption by rising above the water when moving, reducing drag and increasing performance. Cadillac has confirmed that it will be building a new experience centre in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Following the successful launch of its first ever experience centre in Australia, the new facility in Auckland will help potential customers get behind the wheel of the Lyriq EV. New data from the US Department of Energy shows that last year, while SUVs were the leading choice of people looking for a new EV or a plug-in hybrid, the majority of buyers opted for a small-size plug-in rather than the massive full-size ones that automakers keep telling us we want. New data from the used car market shows that in the US, the asking price of used Tesla Model 3s have fallen by 25% year over year, representing the largest price change in any used EV in the last year. Elon Musk is being blamed for the cut, both because of price cuts made on new Teslas in the last year and the fact that some buyers are less likely to want to associate with him and the brand. Through a partnership with Seattle-based company Electric Era, Costco, also based in Washington state, has reintroduced EV charging at some of its locations. Unlike the paddle chargers of the EV1 days, Costco's new fast chargers have integrated battery packs. EV sales in the US eclipsed EV sales in Europe last quarter for the first time in a long while. The change is partly down to economic changes and partly down to changes in EV incentives in key markets throughout Europe. China, though, remains the world's largest EV marketplace. Meanwhile, new data from Escalent claims that there's a definitive gender split in the EV buying population, with male-identified buyers making up 71% of EV owners. Female-identified buyers are, according to the data, more likely to ask questions at the dealership rather than research beforehand. Non-binary buyers weren't featured in the survey. Tesla has published an update on its self-driving roadmap, confirming that FSD version 13 will be delayed until next month. Tesla says the new version will include higher resolution video input, 3 times model size scaling, and more. Norway, long seen as the leader in EV mass adoption, has announced that it's decided to delay the ban on the sale of new internal combustion engine vans in the nation. It was going to be 2025, but now it's been pushed to 2027. Ahead of EICMA next month in Italy, Zero Motorcycles is busy teasing new models, but at the same time, and just after the bankruptcy of Energica, it's openly looking for a massive cash injection in the order of $120 million to help it expand. Hyundai published teaser images this week of its Ioniq 9 full-size electric SUV, a 3-row model that we can think of as the Hyundai twin to the Kia EV9. It's due to get its official reveal in the next few weeks, with a production launch scheduled for next year. While Renault and Nissan's partnership hasn't been all that rosy in recent years, Nissan confirmed this week that it's planning its own microcar model based on the same Ampere platform that will underpin the new Renault Twingo. We don't know much more at the current time. Just 1 week after Volkswagen-owned Scout unveiled its new Terra and Traveller EV models, promising user repairability and direct-to-customer sales, Volkswagen dealers are upset. They're already gearing up to challenge Scout in state and federal court. Candela was celebrating the official start of the world's first dedicated hydrofoil ferry service this week. Located in Stockholm, Sweden, the new route, offered by a P12 called Nova, will cut the commute time between the city centre and Eckerö, a growing suburb, in half. California's EV market share now sits at 22%, meaning that, for the very first time, the state is nearing EV sales of 1 EV for every 3 internal combustion vehicles. It's a fantastic achievement and shows yet again that EV adoption sticks and carrots really do work. The People's Republic of China has told its automakers to not make any major investments in EU countries that supported tariffs on Chinese-made EVs. Instead, it would like its automakers to support countries that didn't vote in favour of EU tariffs. In related news, SAIC Motor has announced its intent to file a lawsuit with the European Court of Justice against EU countries for voting to implement tariffs on Chinese-made and imported EVs. It says the tariffs it faces, 35.3%, are unfair. BYD has just celebrated its best quarter yet, recording Q3 net income of $1.6 billion and putting its quarterly revenue above Tesla's for the very first time in the quarterly earnings race. BYD's record-breaking year shows absolutely no sign of slowing. It's official. Audi's production facility in Brussels, where the Audi Q8 e-tron is currently made, will close at the end of February next year. The facility, which has seen its production drop due to low demand for the ageing Q8 e-tron, will likely be sold off. Watch this space. Tesla has published a new blog post extolling the virtues of its 48-volt low-voltage system as found in Cybertruck. It's taken the technology and turned it into the LVCS, or the Low Voltage Connector Standard, and just like NACS, it's imploring the automotive industry to adopt it. Researchers at the Technical University of Darmstadt in Germany and MIT in the US have made progress into a new system designed to detect faults in EV battery packs at cell levels long before they become a problem. They mix physical models and machine learning to achieve it. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final 2 stories are next, but first a quick word from friend of the channel, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That is exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card today because it's committed to investing 100% into clean, equitable and sustainable progress. With a competitive savings rate and a mobile app, your finances and the climate go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees, there are no minimums keeping you awake at night, and it offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. By joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier Earth. And every sign-up supports this channel so we can keep bringing you the content you enjoy. I am personally a customer and I love knowing that I'm helping save money while also making sure that my money doesn't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. As always, thanks to Atmos for sponsoring the show. And now it's time for those last two stories. I've always been pretty vocal about my love for the OG Tesla Roadster. It was the first Tesla I experienced and was everything I thought a sports car should be. Fun, quick, and reasonably small. It's hard to believe, but those early Tesla Roadsters are fast approaching their 16th birthday, and their original battery packs are certainly showing their age. For a while, Tesla did offer a very expensive retrofit package to give original Roadster owners a new lease of life for their cars. But these days, it has limited interest in the car that started it all, and most Tesla Roadster owners now seek non-Tesla sales and service. And for those whose cars are showing their age, there's good news. A new aftermarket battery product from Texas-based Resell. It's just announced its intent to begin offering brand new battery packs for those iconic cars that not only takes up just over 1/2 of the original battery pack space, but also retains the car's original range. It also makes it possible for DC fast charging and improved liquid cooling for the battery pack and motor down the road. I would love to test one of those out. And finally, as I seem to be noting more and more, Chinese automakers are really starting to make their presence felt in the EV industry, with impressive specs, low pricing, and great features. And now there's a new one to add to the list: new records. Sort of. That's because Xiaomi's SU7 hypercar just took to the Nürburgring in Germany to set a new record for both four-door production cars and electric cars. A lightened pre-production SU7 was given some time on the green hell late one night this week, and it set a new unofficial lap time of just under 6 minutes. Why is it unofficial? Well, first, the vehicle was technically a pre-production version of the SU7, and secondly, it was heavily stripped down to give it the lightest weight possible. Still, anything under 6 minutes is blisteringly quick and worth noting, and I'm pretty sure Tesla, Porsche and Lucid, as well as many other companies, will want to go back to the green hell to make sure the official record is theirs. That said, Xiaomi says it intends to bring a production SU7 to the Nürburgring green hell next year to make that lap time a real record. So, game on, watch this space. And on that note, we're done with today's show. As always, a huge thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator and point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. Find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make the step towards energy self-sufficiency through solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following the link below. And if you're someone who made your own transportation or energy greener this week, whatever it was, congratulations. If you'd like to support the channel directly, please consider supporting us from $1 a month on Patreon, which is about $10.08 a year, or by visiting our swag store. We are viewer supported because we believe the information we produce should be free to everyone. And thanks to changes in how YouTube does ad revenue, our income is unfortunately down about 10-ish% this year. So if you do support, thank you. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that you make this all possible. You really do. We'll be back next week as usual with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. To finish, remember that you are valid and loved and you have a place in this world regardless of what rich idiots, religious zealots, presidential candidates, large companies and all of those other greedy politicians say. Know that your existence is resistance, and if you are a US citizen, please make sure you take time out of your week to exercise your democratic right to vote if you haven't yet. It has never been more important to make yourself heard, and that's true at both the local and national level. So, until next time, stay safe, regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally. Be kind. Take time out if you need it. And please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.